and welcome back to the show. A big thank you to Jeff for taking us through the dailies. It is time to rise and shine with me, Shiko Kaitani. Now, to err is human. Make no mistake, we definitely all make mistakes. And sometimes we fail in certain areas of our lives. But do you believe that you can actually fail successfully? Well, my guest today believes we can. And today, Njeri Muchunu is here to talk to us about failing forward. If you haven't heard about that, well, she's about to explain it all. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Shiro. Thank you for having me.
Nice to meet you, Nancy.
Jerry.
Oh, sorry, Jerry. Thank you.
Yes.
Jerry, nice to meet you too.
Me,
I have baptized you. We've baptized each other. By the way, you did call me Shiro.
Yeah.
How interesting. Yes, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nancy, a.k.a. Jerry, or Jerry, a.k.a. Nancy.
Whichever works.
Whichever works. Karibu sana to the show. What is a John Maxwell coach being all about? Because we understand, you know, even from your profile that you are a certified John Maxwell coach.
Yes, being a certified John Maxwell coach means that I've gone through programs.
Yes.
A program, basically, that is taught by the John C. Maxwell, who was here a month or so ago. And basically, you go through a number of programs of how to become a coach, how to train people, how to speak. So it is very in-depth, and it teaches you how to, first of all, lead yourself, be better yourself. You cannot lead anyone without getting a grasp of who you are yourself. So you go through a journey of first transforming yourself, and then they allow you now to go out there and transform nations.
I didn't even know that you can actually be certified in that. That's so interesting.
Yes,
okay.
You can be certified because it's basically you have to be taught.
Right.
Even self-awareness is taught. Yeah. It's not something that just happens automatically. We tend to think that those people who are self-aware have actually just got it. It just happened. Yeah. But it's a process. It's a process of growth. It's a journey. You learn, you fail, you fall, you pick yourself up. You're like, I can't do this. This is too hard. This is for other people to do, and it's not for me. Right. But it's a very difficult journey because you ask yourself very difficult questions. Okay. And then when he feels that you're ready, then you're certified, and he tells you, go and spread the word. Right. Go and empower others. Go coach people to be the best version of themselves that they can possibly be. Go and speak to people and inspire them to be better, to do better. Right. Train them on leadership values and what they stand for and who they are, and be the change you want to see in your society. Right.
Okay. Many times we see that it just usually is people who've gone through a specific, you know, experience now giving us this, but it's interesting that you can actually go study, understand, go through courses, and know that there's a way to go about it.
Oh yes, it's actually there are courses and you have to pay, and they're not the cheapest.
Okay, so now we're here to talk about failing forward. Yes. Jerry, what is failing forward?
Failing forward, let me start by saying this. Unfortunately, we are not encouraged to fail in our society. Yes. Everybody is talking about success, success. Oh, success looks like this. You must have this car. You must have this kind of life that you're living. But I'm here to tell people, in order for you to succeed, you must fail. Yes. The highest achievers that you know in the world have failed. But who talks about the backstory? We always see the completed picture. Right. So what am I saying? Embrace failure. So what do? I equip people to embrace failure. I'm having a talk this Saturday. Of course, the tagline is failing forward. It's for the youth. I'm calling it Youth Max 2018. And I'm encouraging the youth to come and learn how to fail forward. Right. Because the expectations of society today are so high. Right. If you look at the depression rates, they are so high. Why? Because even our own parents are not allowing us to fail. Right.
If you get seriously punished for it.
You get seriously punished for it. And why do you think there's cheating in the exams?
That's true. Because you're terrified of failing. Exactly. You can't afford to fail, so I'd rather cheat. I'd rather copy from you or find a way.
And imagine your parents are the ones who are helping you.
Facilitating
the cheating. Yes. How bad then is it?
Yes.
And I always say that failure and success are two sides of the same coin. They are two sides of the same coin. If you're successful too fast, it's not a good thing. If then you fail on the other side, it's also not a good thing. So basically, you have to get a balance. So what do I say? When you fail, for instance, if you've gone for an interview, a job interview, you go, you sit in an interview, and you're like, I'm so prepared, I have all the answers. And then you sit there and you show the best self, your best self shows up. And then they tell you, I'm sorry, we're not taking you.
Right.
And you're like, how?
And that happens all the time.
And that happens all the time.
Yeah.
But then what happens? What do you do with that? Do you then say it's a reflection of who I am, then I'm not good enough? Or is it that you embrace the failure, right? You allow yourself to feel the pain, because you will feel the pain of rejection. Nobody likes rejection.
Yes.
But then take the lesson.
Right.
What could I have done better? What is it? Perhaps right back to the interview panel and say, what is it that I didn't do as well?
That's true.
What can I do
so
to
hard
improve?
to even get to that level. Not many of us will have the guts to actually go back and say, hi, HR, could you kindly tell me, you know, what you felt was a bit off?
But the highest achievers always do what? You deal with the feeling. They say, embrace the feeling, right? But then, once you're done with the emotions and boo-hoo-hoo, because you'll all boo-hoo-hoo at some point, then you put your emotions aside and start looking at the facts. What are the facts? What could I have done better? Perhaps if I said this, perhaps if I framed my answer in this way. Then next time you pick yourself up and you try again and you apply. And the next time you will be better. And perhaps they'll still reject you. And you're like, okay, sawa, perhaps that didn't quite work out well. So again, what was it? Failure, I always say failure is refusing, is giving up.
It's giving up, okay.
Right? I always say when you do not succeed or get the outcome that you're looking to get, that is known as feedback, right? So take the feedback and learn from it and then start again. Don't be afraid. Another thing, you need to stop people pleasing.
Yeah.
We are in this society where we want to look good. I want you to like me. Therefore, if you reject me, then that's a reflection of me. Honestly, stop being so caught up with people pleasing. Do you put your blinders on and go for that which you believe? And let me tell you, the greatest people, for instance, I was saying about Wangari Maathai.
Right.
God rest her soul.
Yeah.
Wangari Maathai. Now we are all running in Karura, sijui picnicking, our bikes, whatever. All of us, we are all in Karura and talking highly about Karura. However, where would Karura be today if it was not for her?
It's true.
Right? Yeah. Perhaps she did not live to see the extent of her fight.
Right.
But she believed in something and she went for it. Does it mean she didn't fail? How many times did we watch her on TV?
Yes.
Being brutalized, arrested, I don't know what.
Yeah, and we all were like, hey, she's going a bit too far. Why would she do that?
And everybody's like, hey, this one is rough.
Yeah, and she was disowned.
Exactly.
She had all sorts of titles.
Exactly.
Yes, but today, it's a completely different story.
She's a laureate. She's a Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Yes. She's on the top 10 list of who motivates you.
Exactly. But when she was there in the Uchafu, nobody even wanted to relate with her. Nobody even wanted to acknowledge that they know her. Kwanza, if you know her, you're like, that one, she can't even be my path.
But she was not a people pleaser. That's the thing.
Exactly. She's not a people pleaser. She believed in something. And she said, irrespective of the price, I will do it. Because I always say, he who calls you equips you, which is God. If he calls you to something, he will equip you.
That's
and
true.
You can do it. Thomas Edison, the light bulb. We keep talking about the light bulb today. 1,000 times. People say 10,000. However many times.
The point is there were many.
And he refused to say that he failed. He said, each time I received feedback.
Right.
And I am a product of that.
That's true. Okay.
I myself.
But let me ask you, Njeri, from your own personal experience, how did you get to this through your own failures? Tell us a little bit about that, if you can briefly.
Let me tell you a little bit about that. First of all, perhaps I give you my background. I'm a lawyer by profession. I'm a psychology major. I'm certified John Maxwell coach. I'm an AML CFT expert, anti-money laundering, countering finance of terrorism. And then, finally, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, and I'm a friend to many.
Many hats.
Yes. So what am I saying? These are all titles.
Yes.
Right? And they're all nice. But nobody ever asked me what happened behind there for me to receive these things. First and foremost, I was raised by parents who, God bless their souls, they are the best. I love them. I would not
swap them for anything.
Yes, that's the word, swap them for anything. But because of the way I was brought up, my parents taught us to be the best, to go for gold. Yes. Failure was not acceptable. Right. Excuse me. Yeah? You're failing. Why are you not number one? Me, all of me, I know my parents in my time. Yes. They were all number one. So you wonder who was number two in class, because everybody was number
Jeff,
one.
My co-host, likes to say that by the way, all parents tell you that they were number one. In fact, I saw on social media one person say that my parent was number one to the extent the teacher was asking him for help.
You know?
So we've all been duped to growing up.
Exactly.
But anyway,
so if your parents are all number one, then who was number two?
That's true.
Right? But they're probably thinking that they're telling you this to encourage you. However, what has happened, I've been fired from a job. I have been in very bad relationships, but I thank God because of those bad relationships. I am here today with a wonderful man who I call my husband, kissing many frogs, and then now you find your prince. You know, going through the job market. I remember when I was a graduate of law, I studied in the UK, I came back home. Right. When I came back home, imagine after you have this degree from the UK.
I know.
Really? Yeah. Then they tell you, I'm sorry, we can't give you a job, 2,000 bob. Wow. That was my first salary. Mark you, I already have a degree in psychology, right? And then somebody's paying you 2,000 bob.
Over-experienced, and now look at what you're getting.
Yeah. You think that was easy? It wasn't easy. Yeah. Sometimes when I look back, in hindsight, I'm like, perhaps God took me through this so that I could get to where I am. I complained all the way, all the way, every day, but I never gave up. And what did I get from that? From learning to live on that 2,000 bob and extend it. Not because my parents are not able to give me more, but they were like, excuse me, chick, you have a job now. Yes. Yeah, you deal. Figure it out. Even as we started there. So I thank them for that, because they did not overprotect us. What is happening today, we are feeding our children with so much. We are not allowing them to fail, and therefore the stress levels are so high because they cannot cope.
And let's even talk a little bit about that, about expectations. Yes. These expectations that we have for ourselves and even on others, you think is what's causing us even now to more or less fly off the handle?
It is what is causing us to fall off the handle or fly off the handle. Yeah. If you look at the guy from PwC
who jumped off the 17th floor.
Yes. If you read the story, of course, some of we don't know the complete truth. Yes. But what we know, the stuff that we can pick from those stories, that this guy, his stress levels were very high. Yeah. The expectations from his employer were extremely high. He has a family. He has children. He has society to please. Yes. Right? And the problem with us, because of the expectations being so high, and he was so afraid to lose his job. He hates his job. Right. What's with that? You hate your job, yet you don't want to lose it. It's true. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right? So instead of telling the boss, I'm sorry, perhaps if you give me a little bit more time, I'll be able to deliver. Yeah. But what kind of a person is able to do that? It's true. It's a person who knows who they are, what they stand for, what their values are. And you don't need your boss to clap for you and tell you, well done, for you to know that you are good enough. Yeah. The problem with our society, we do not know that we are enough. Our parents never affirmed us enough to tell you, you are good enough. Yeah. You are enough just the way you are. We're told that if you did not get an A, then therefore you're a loser. But can we all get A's? No. Surely. No. Right? But if you look at the people who are the most successful, never got A's. Yes. They're C+. They are the C+ people.
And it's the C+ people who hire the A students.
Exactly.
But you know, that's the thing. You know, you're told to dream big. You're told to do this so that you can expect this. Yes. You know, they have to go hand in hand. Yes. And then when it doesn't come, we completely get depressed. Like, you ask yourself, what do you mean? I've studied so hard for that exam. I have prepped enough. I went through all these coaches and their lessons and everything and what they said, what you should do at an interview. And like you said, then you don't get the interview.
I always say there's a difference between a dream and a fantasy. A lot of us live in fantasy, in the fantasy world. I want to be like Michael Jordan. I want to jump, sijui what. who asked Michael Jordan how he started?
Yeah.
Right? It is not about what you do in public. It is what the work that you do in private. People always see a completed picture. Before a battle is won out there, it is already won inside. Right? Inside, you have had the internal battle. To go and stand there and speak about it, you've already won that battle. What I always say, our dreams are so big, and we are able to achieve them. However, and one thing that John, my friend, says, John Maxwell, he says, teamwork makes the dream work. There is no dream that you can achieve on your own. We are so selfish that we think, like I say what I do, I cannot achieve it on my own. I need people to be with me, to walk around with me, to empower me, to tell me you can do it, let's do this, to buy into my vision, to buy into my dream. And when your dream is so self-centered, imagine you never make it. It's about you making money, it's about you being known, it's about you appearing on K24, it's about you being seen. Then you lose the point.
You're losing the point.
Whose life are you impacting by what you're doing? If your dream does not concern or involve other people, and that's a fantasy.
Okay, that's a fantasy. So we need to learn how to balance, like you said. And even the idea of expecting too much, should we then be okay with the idea that things should go 50-50? Always stay at that.
Yes, I always believe that. Be moderate.
Be moderate,
right?
Okay.
Go for what you believe, because I said, he who calls you equips you.
Yes.
So you can do it, but take bite-sized chunks.
I like that.
Bite-sized chunks.
Yes.
Something that is palatable, something that you can be able to chew on.
Right.
Don't go too fast, right? Take small steps, take small steps, because that builds resilience. It allows you to have staying power, that even when you get to become successful, you will not lose it, because you're like, hey, do you know how hard I've worked to get where I am today?
True.
You have staying power. But when it's too quick, then what happens?
You lose it all.
You lose it all.
Which is true, because if you see men or people who are wealthy in their older years, they manage to actually keep the wealth longer, because when they think about how they were a charcoal burner, they used to work in the matatu industry, they did this and this before they actually accumulated their wealth. They preserve and guard their wealth so well.
Yes.
Yeah, all the way till
it's really not about excitement.
Yes, it's not.
It's not about excitement. But the generation of today, the microwave generation, the millennials, quick, everything you want quick. So if we don't get it at that speed, then what happens? And why do you think marriages are breaking down? Why do you think people are losing their... Why do you think... I had somebody tell me, oh, I left my job because I wasn't feeling valued. I'm like, you're how old again? Yeah. It's called hard work. We are told to work smart, but there's a place for hard work.
That's true.
You start with hard work. Then you work smart. After you have put in the time. You need to put in the time. You have to go through the pain. You have to go through the peaks,
the lows
and the troughs of life. But when it is so smooth, I mean, why? Have you asked yourself, why are the depression levels so high?
It's true. You know what? And, that being said, even as, we marinate on that, I really want to talk about the coping formula. You already touched a little bit on it, but why don't you give us, in brief, your points on how to cope with failure real quick, even as we come to the tail end of our interview?
Okay, first and foremost, if you're a youth between the age of 21 all the way to about 45, I'm having something called Youth Max. This Saturday, from 9 a.m. To about 4:30 p.m. And the theme is failing forward. I am calling you guys to come and get equipped on how to fail forward. I am going to give you the tools, right? I can only talk very briefly about it. And point number one here is experience the setback, right? You've gone for the interview and they've told you no. So experience the setback, number one. Number two, make peace with it. We rarely make peace with our setbacks because we see it as a reflection of
who we are.
That's true. Number three, learn the lesson.
Learn the lesson,
meaning take the feeling out now because you have cried enough. Now learn the lesson. Get people who can help you learn. Tell them the story and they will get the tidbits. tell me what you went through, Shiro, and I will help you dissect it and tell you perhaps this is the way you should try it next time.
That's true.
And then finally, try again.
Try again. And by the way, you actually talked about Thomas Edison, and it's so interesting because everybody, you know, knows, of course, the story about the light bulb. And just to even recap about what he said, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that do not work. And this is the part, just to resonate with what you're saying, that he says many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up.
Yes.
You give up just before you are about to make it.
And I always say that because what I do is generally not easy.
Yeah.
But I always say, hey, if I stop today, what of that life that could have been changed? What of that life that could have been transformed?
That's true.
So I keep going, I keep trying. I cannot give up.
Right.
Because it's not about me, it's about somebody else and what value I can add to that.
Njeri, are you finally thankful for your failures?
Oh my goodness. I would not be where I am today if I never failed. I am a happier person. It has allowed me to get out of my comfort zone. Because I stayed in my comfort zone for so long. And I was so afraid of trying something different. But when I jumped, I was like, oh my goodness, why did I not do this earlier?
I like it.
Yes.
I love you. Thank you so much for coming to the studio today. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but I loved our discussion today because it's so true. And we really need to learn how to embrace and just grow, okay? And, you know, just that tenacity and build that, okay? Because you need endurance to get forward. You really do. And it really is about actually learning how to turn your lemons into lemonade rather. And of course, if you believe Njeri's message today, then you know that one day things will actually work out. But that being said, you always know we've got a quote for you at the end of every session on Rise and Shine. Interestingly enough, this one is from John C. Maxwell, who wears as many hats as Njeri, American author, leadership coach, you name it. John C. Maxwell, who says, fail early, fail often, but always fail forward. I don't know if my director can put that up on the board. And that is from American author, speaker, pastor, leadership coach. Fail early, fail often, but always fail forward. Yeah, touches home.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that is your soul food for today. And of course, if you did enjoy today's session, please let us know. Give us that feedback through my social media platforms. I am at Shiko Kaitani on Twitter, Facebook, as well as Instagram. Let's take a look at our roads. Jeff is on the other side.
Okay, you need some motivation, of course, if you're getting ready to leave the house because, you know, Monday traffic, oof, man, it just knocks the wind out of the best of us. Let's start off with Jogoo Road because on Jogoo Road is where you need to fail often, fail early. Also, if you're leaving the house, leave early on Jogoo Road because, as you can see, coming all the way Jogoo Road, coming through, down all the way past Makadara, coming down that way past Church Army, you can see it's just different shades of red. You know, a deeper red comes to orange a bit, then it goes back to an even deeper red. The closer you get to City Stadium roundabout on that particular end, and that just goes to show how bad the traffic situation is if you're coming through Jogoo Road. Then just as you get to Muthurwa area, look up on Asiko Plaza. Man, it's deep maroon. That means it is bumper to bumper. Manena's right there on Muthurwa area, and that's how things are looking as of now. Let's go to the other side of town and see if you're coming through Mombasa Road. Probably you have a different scenario as you come into the CBD. Just before you get to Capital Center, en route to Nairobi City Center, not looking too bad, but that's where things now start to slow down as you get to that particular point. Just after that particular South Sea bus terminus there, coming closer and closer to Nyayo Stadium roundabout, the worse the traffic gets on that particular stretch of road, all the way up until that particular roundabout and onwards. From there, it's just slow, all the way past Makaburini, as you can see, coming up that way, still very slow traffic, up until you get to Haile Selassie roundabout. If you're going on upwards that way, traffic still bad. If you're getting into the city using that particular stretch of road, then as you can see right there, it's still looking very heavy with traffic as of now. Any good road that we can use right now for you as you go through this particular side of things? Bagath, we're not looking too bad if heading out, of course, and down towards T-Mall area. If heading up that way past Memorial Hospital and up that way towards the Timothy roundabout, as you can see, it's busy, shades of red all the way up until, of course, that Kenyatta National Hospital roundabout on that particular side of things. That's how things are looking right now on the roads. If you can avoid those particular roads, you'll be doing yourself a world of good on that particular side. Let's look at some of the tweets that we have right now. Rironi towards Limuru is at a standstill as of now. As you can see, this is courtesy of Julius Mwax. Look at that on that particular side of things. A couple of lorries, of course, on that road as well. And, of course, as you can see, some people trying to get in, of course, get onto the road right there. Nothing but brake lights all the way down. So that's how things are looking as of now on that particular side of things. Let's move on to another tweet, of course, courtesy of Karua Pal. Kiambu Road, Mwendo Ninyue, all the way till when you join Thika Road, where it's a bit slow but smooth all the way after Pango underpass till Tao. So my Kiambu Road people, now you know how things are looking, and the spots are going to get a bit of traffic. Last tweet at this time of the morning, no traffic, rare and surprising. Good news from Langata Road. That is indeed surprising on a whole Monday morning during rush hour, and it's end month. Of course, Taruso is expecting a worse scenario on the roads. But if you're coming through Langata Road, as of now, of course, 10 to 7, of course, is when that tweet came in, is when things are looking really good in the roads. However, things do change, of course, within the hour. And, of course, at the top of the hour, we'll let you know how things are looking on the roads. So in case things change on any of those roads or any other, we'll let you know right here, of course, on Alpha G. We take a short break. On the other side, we get interactive.